the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Together, reducing fraud worldwide.
I'm Andrea Baxendale, and I served 9 months in state prison for theft, fraud, and forgery. And I have 2 years of probation and some restitution to pay. Well, I started out as a cost accountant, which I never, ever, I said I would never do that because I hated it in college. I hated it. But I ended up loving it. And so it was that. And then they taught me accounts payable. And then it was teaching me accounts receivable because we were cross-training. And there was 6 of us in the office at that time. So we learned what everybody did. So if somebody's out, you can still do it. I always had the title of basically accountant is what they called it. And for years, for probably, I don't know, 8 years, there was never, and I'm not putting blame on anything, I'm just saying there was never, ever separation of duties. There was never any checks and balances. Maybe the first year I was there because there was an older gentleman that had been there for years. But if I'm doing everything and then I'm doing the audit book at the end of the year, there's no one. It went to an outside accountant just to do the taxes. There was never anything. I mean, they went as far as I could call the bank and raise the limit on the company credit card. I mean, they put my name on it. Because there was trust. I mean, honestly, there was too much trust. I mean, you got to have a system in place. You have to, obviously. I could put ad vendors. I mean, I opened the mail even. I logged everything in. I put pay raises in. I'd say the first 6 months, maybe, it was a couple hundred, maybe twice a month, maybe. And then I'm like, well, that's pretty easy. And then it increased to, like I said, I'd cash a petty cash check for $200, but make it for $2,200 after it's signed. And I'd probably do that maybe once a month. And that is the only thing. I never never did anything on the payroll, never did anything on the accounts payable, didn't set up a ghost vendor or anything, and didn't do anything with any accounts receivable, stuff like that. I mean, it was always petty cash check, or I'd use a credit card for personal use. I mean, I did that. That was easy too, because they put my name on it. And I have thought a lot about how did I even start this? Opportunity, obviously, but I would say, I'll just do it once. And it was probably, I'd worked there 10, 11 years before it even, I'll just see what I can do. I mean, it was a couple $100, okay. Because we didn't have direct deposit ever. And we used to have, they had what they called a tool bill. The guys would buy their tools, the company would actually pay for them, and it would be a payroll deduction. It was kept on a green ledger paper. It wasn't, we just took so much out a week. But you could have that taken out, even if you didn't owe anything, kind of save it, and then, it started out, well, we're doing that. And then it was like, well, I got a couple hundred saved, but I'll write the check for twice as much. And then I'll just take out my check later. I mean, that's kind of thinking back, that's how it really started, and the owner would give loans, interest-free loan, okay, well, I'll just say it was a loan. No one ever checks. So I'd say it was probably about 11 years after working there, 10 to 11 years, and that's kind of how it started, real little, just And I did deduct it and pay it back, but then it was easy. I mean, and it was just a little bit at a time, and then, more things happen, things get tighter. You think, well, I can just do this, and we can do whatever we want. We can go on vacation, and we can kind of keeping up with friends, or that kind of started happening too. There was a little resentment too, because I wasn't making what I thought I should make. The person before me, you didn't give me his title. And no offense, but I kind of felt like it was there was only like 3 or 4 females that worked there, so I kind of felt like it was because I was a female. I was well below what I felt I should have been at. So there was a little bit of that too, like, I deserve it. There was part of me that's like, well, I deserve this extra. I mean, so-and-so was making this much, and I'm doing everything that he did and more, so why shouldn't I? So, felt I deserved more. Well, they're not going to miss it. They don't need it. I mean, they got plenty. They do what they want. They let me do whatever I want, so the opportunity was there, and all that was in my mind. I think owners of companies, any size, need to really think about that and realize that it's not gonna happen if it can't. I mean,